Hi, good morning. I wanted to welcome you all to federal government class at TCC. My name is Jennifer Green. I'm an adjunct professor, and I wanted to go through the ICR, the syllabus, and let you know a little bit about the class and a little bit about my expectations in the class. This will be the first and only video message that you'll get. The rest of the lectures will be just audio. So you don't need to worry about, having capabilities to watch video or, so you can listen to these lectures just on your phone or just over your computer. I wanted to just tell you, first of all, a little bit about myself. I have been an adjunct professor at TCC for 3 or 4 years, and I teach federal government and Texas government, and I enjoy it so much. I have another job where I am an attorney who has been practicing for 20 years, and I do civil defense. So I defend corporations when they get sued for their products failing or something like that. So I work for a law firm, a private law firm in Dallas, and my favorite job is being an adjunct professor at TCC. I really enjoy getting to know my students. So this online platform is a little bit tricky for me, and it's a little bit tricky for me to keep your name straight because they don't have faces and we haven't talked or things like that. We may have a few optional video interactions where we will, have a Zoom or a Teams meeting or something like that. Those will be optional, so you don't have to worry about having a specific time that you have to set aside for this class. These will be self-paced classes. You will be able to do them generally at your own pace. There will be deadlines built in though, because if we don't, then we will have people who maybe put it all off until the very last week of the semester, and then that just stresses you out and stresses everybody else. So there will be deadlines in place, but as far as do you need to show up Monday at 8 a.m. or anything like that, no. Any kind of synchronous meetings we have will be optional, and I will try to schedule a few different options so that if you miss one, you can always make up another one. So just a tiny bit about myself. I told you I'm an attorney. I told you I love being a professor. I also travel a lot with my job, but also for pleasure. I like to travel. Our big sad thing was we had a big trip to Italy planned and had to cancel it due to the pandemic. So generally our travels are not that exciting, but this was one that was in the works for a long time. And so we do travel a tiny bit internationally, but mostly just around the United States. So I have a degree in political science from Texas A&M, and then I went on to law school after that. And after law school, took the bar exam in Texas and was licensed there. And then over the course of a few years, have become licensed in more states. I would see the need for my client. My client would be sued a lot in a certain state, and so I would think it would be helpful if I was licensed to practice law there. So I would take the bar or somehow get licensed to vary state to state. And so now I'm licensed in a number of states: California, New York, Illinois, Mississippi, and then Texas. In my free time, I enjoy going on walks, walking my dog. I have lots of animals, rabbits, cats. That's a dog, a couple of dogs. And I enjoy cooking. I enjoy running. I have been a marathoner in the past. I haven't run one, I guess, since the pandemic. And you know, things like that. I just enjoy it. I have a couple of kids and they're both teenagers. So we do a lot of stuff with high school theater, high school band, just high school is a lot. And I am married to an engineer. And so, you know, we always just have kind of interesting things going on around our house. So I'm going to get right in and tell you first, go through the ICR with you, the syllabus, and then also tell you what exactly you need to do to ace this class. And I will tell you from the top, that is my goal. One semester, I swear, I'm going to have every single person make an A in the class, and I can't wait for that semester. Hasn't happened yet, but we've come pretty close. So I want you to succeed in this class. I want you to enjoy this class, and I want to do everything I can to help you succeed. So we'll talk about that in a bit. First, let's talk about the ICR. Let me share my ICR screen. Okay, so let's go through this. This has my information. You will need to keep these drop dates in mind because I will not remind you about those. I would have a hard time remembering them myself. And so this is something that you really need to keep in mind. If you get to April 1st and you are way behind in the class and you just don't see any way you're going to be able to catch up, you're probably going to want to drop the class just because it'll be easier to just retake it than it will be to have that grade on your record that you're trying to dig out of for a number of years. So watch the drop dates. If you need anything, I want you to email me to my MyTCC email. My faculty email is something that I check often, but my MyTCC email is something I check on a daily basis. I won't always be able to get back to you on a daily basis, but I will do my very best. So if you're going to email me, number one, from your MyTCC email, and then you email me to my MyTCC-D email. Okay, so that is mine. I don't know if other professors have told you these things just are assigned to us. So I have no idea if I'm the 171st Jennifer Green or what that means, but that's my email address. I have put office hours down, but they're really just arbitrary because I will be able to jump on a Zoom with you, you know, have a Teams meeting, something like that around our schedules. So I will not have a Teams link open from, you know, 7 to 8 on Tuesdays and 8 to 9 on Saturdays. However, if you need me, we'll figure out a time when we can both meet and we can do a video conference if you think that would be more helpful, just whatever works best. Okay, second page of the ICR, there is a link to the district course requirements and to the books that you need to be aware of. If you have a SAR form, you need to let me know about that. So I don't get that information from the college, and so you need to tell me if there's some sort of accommodation that I need to make for you. So don't expect that somebody is going to tell me about that. Okay. Campus carry, we're not on campus, but if we ever are on campus and we are in a face-to-face class, I will ask you not to carry your concealed weapons or unconcealed weapons in my class. I would really appreciate if you fill out the course evaluation sometime during the course. I do not see those. I do not know if I'm given some sort of a grade that's kept somewhere. I don't know about it, but I would like for you to do that because it really does help the college and it helps us all determine, you know, what direction the courses need to take, things like that. If I know of any kind of sexual misconduct or something else that is violence or gender-based harassment, I will report it. I will let you know that I'm reporting it to the college. I don't expect this will be an issue just because we are online, and so until I see you face to face, this wouldn't be something that I would necessarily know about. If you are pregnant, if you are parenting, first of all, congratulations. I completely understand what it's like to be a working parent. I started working before my children were born. I worked through my pregnancies. I took time off for maternity leave, but not anything significant, sorry. And then I returned to work. And so I completely understand that being a working parent requires a lot of juggling. So I am sensitive to that. I will work with you. However, I want you to really make sure that you have thought this through and have thought through whether this is a good time for you and your family to take on the course load that you've taken on. So sometimes, we take on a little bit more than we can handle, and sometimes we can't handle it all. So if you're getting to that point, let's have a conversation about it. But as far as if we have a Teams meeting and there's a kid running through the background, not even going to faze me. I completely understand. And if you need to, email me at 1 a.m. because you've just gotten everybody down and or you're up feeding a kid or something like that, completely understand. I have kept those hours before and I am absolutely sympathetic. So the textbook in this class will be We the People, and it's a textbook that I've used for a couple of semesters. It's a great textbook. I'm not going to assign reading, but I need you to read the textbook so that you will understand the background from where we're coming. And I want you to let me know if you have any questions about something that's raised in the textbook. And obviously it was written, a couple of years ago, so it's had time to be printed and things like that. So there are current events that are not mentioned in the textbook, but it is a good overall introduction to government. Okay, so you will need access to Blackboard, meaning you need access to the internet, be it on your phone or on a tablet or a laptop, something like that. You need to be able to access Blackboard because I will communicate with you through Blackboard. I will post frequent messages, announcements on Blackboard, and that is where you will take your exams. And so you will need to have access to Blackboard. There is a list of the different things that I would like you to be able to do by the end of the course. And this is, you can use this as kind of the goal of what we'll be doing. So I want you to understand about, constitutional democracy. I want you to understand about the federal system, the 3 different branches of government, kind of how the election process works, how public opinion affects that election process, interest groups, things like that. And we're going to talk about some current events in the election season that we just finished in 2020 and, any upcoming elections that are on the horizon. So we'll talk about, how things work. I hope debunk some myths. We will talk about impeachment. We will talk about how a president gets removed from office, things like that. So I want you to have this as kind of a loose understanding of what the goals of this class are. I also want you to be able to communicate well. So I'm not going to cut a whole lot of slack on that. This is a college class. This is something that you are paying to take. I want you to get the full value of what you are undertaking here. And I want you to not feel like you've been shortchanged because you just turned something in and I just give you an automatic, full credit. I will be reading your assignments for grammar, for plagiarism, for completeness of thought and completeness of your idea, things like that. So when you write something, proofread it and think about how it sounds. And I will give you feedback on some of your assignments to let you know, hey, this was not quite up to the level that I think you're able to write to, things like that. With that said, I do understand that a lot of people have English as not their first language. I'm not gonna crucify you for not using the correct word at the correct time. I will give you feedback, but I do ask that you do not turn in anything with spelling mistakes, things that can be caught by just a quick pass of proofreading or spell check, grammar check, things like that. In a normal class time when we're in person, you would have the option to stand up and give a presentation in class for extra credit. We don't have that option here. I don't know if we're going to be able to work that option in, but I just wanted to let you know because a lot of people take both classes, federal government and Texas government, from me. And so next time we're in person, that will be something that is included in the class. I also will expect you to participate in the class. There will be discussion boards. We'll talk about that in a second. But in a normal class, you would be expected to show up at class and participate in class. I want you to be somebody who is interacting in this class and not just reading a book or reading listening to lectures or reading notes, things like that. There will be some quizzes, exams, critical thinking projects, and then discussion boards. So there will be 3 exams, one at the end of each unit. So we'll have 4 units in the class. There will be an exam after unit 1, 2, and 3. And then there will be a final exam after unit 4. The final exam is not comprehensive. That means it is only over unit 4 material. There will be a makeup exam that is optional, and it will be offered sometime between the unit 3 exam and the final. And the makeup exam will be comprehensive. It will be over everything that we have talked about in units 1, 2, and 3. So what happens is if you miss one of the exams, you will have the option of taking a makeup exam. But say you have taken all 3 of the exams and you feel like one of them you could have done a little bit better. You only get one option to take the exams. I don't allow a number of tries. You do have a time limit on the exams, but that time limit is very generous. It is orders of magnitude over the amount of time it's going to actually take you to finish the exam. And so what happens if you just don't like one of your exam grades, you can take the makeup exam. If it would help your grade, it will replace the lowest grade. If it would not help, then it won't replace the lowest grade. So basically at the end of the class, you will have, if you take the makeup exam, you'll end up with 5 exam grades. Only the top 4 will count. So you'll see that, that your grade will change once you take one of those the makeup exam that will replace one of the other exams. There will be 10 quizzes. We will do those on Google Forms, and you must be logged into your MyTCCD email when you complete those quizzes. If you try to complete the quiz while you're not logged in, then it will not let you access the quiz. It'll give you an error message that says you're not able to access this information, or you're not able to see this form or make changes to this form, something like that. So again, quizzes, one shot. You need to have thought about the things that are asked in the quizzes before you actually sit down and take the quiz. There's not a time limit on the quizzes, but if I see that you have multiple attempts, I'm only grading the first attempt. Now, I'm not a monster. If you sign in and you start taking it and your internet freaks out, and so it's going to act like it's a second attempt, I will be able to tell that because you'll have, 2 answers or something like that, and everything else will be blank. I'm not going to count that attempt. I will count your first full attempt of a quiz. So that'll be the attempt, and I'll let you know if there's an issue or if I'm confused, or if you've done, if you've submitted it twice or something like that. Sometimes you submit it and then you think, did I really submit it? And you submit it again. You're not going to get penalized for that. I'm just letting you know you can't keep taking the quiz until you get the grade you want. Now we will have more quizzes than necessary. So we will have probably about 12 quizzes. So again, only the top 10 grades will count. If you miss a quiz, don't sweat it. It will be replaced by one of the quizzes, one of the extra quizzes that we have. Critical thinking. We will have 2 critical thinking projects. Those will be done in PowerPoint or Google Slides, some sort of format like that. I will ask you to use some creativity. They won't be long projects, but they will be projects that you'll have a rubric for, so you'll know exactly what I'm asking you to do. And you will submit those, you will email them to me at my MindTCCD email address. So once you finish them, you will spell check them, make sure that you haven't accidentally cut and paste something that is somebody else's work or something you read from an article, and then you will submit them to me via email. And I will read them and give you a grade. There will not be a drop grade for critical thinking. So two assignments, 2 things that you'll need to complete. We will have discussion boards. The top 5 discussion board submissions will count. So we'll probably have more than 5 discussion boards. And what I'm going to need you to do is I will post a question, and I'm going to need you to respond to that question. And then I'm going to need you to read some other responses and give some feedback to that. Yes, that's a good point. 3 sentences of, what you thought, what an alternate view would be. We're not going to argue. We're not going to berate anybody for their beliefs. And frankly, when you respond to these questions, if I say, for example, for the death penalty, why is the death penalty a good idea? Or why is it a bad idea? Pick one side and write about it. You don't have to tell me what you personally believe. You just have to tell me what some of the arguments for or some of the arguments against are. And so you don't have to give your own personal beliefs if you don't feel comfortable doing that. You can just say some people who are in favor of this issue say XYZ. Some people who are opposed say XYZ. So that kind of thing. And then what will happen is your highest grades in each of those categories will be totaled, and it will be applied to this point scale. Now, a few different things. At the end of each unit, I will go back through the unit, and I will, whatever quizzes we took, whatever discussion boards we took, exams we took, things like that. If you do not have a grade, I will enter a 0. And so if I don't enter zeros, then the program doesn't work correctly and the correct grades don't drop. So if I don't enter a 0, then it'll end up dropping one of your higher grades instead of that blank. So it's all in how Blackboard grading works. With that said, you need to realize that when I put a 0 in, I'm not saying you did a horrible job, you're a bad person, I think you're a terrible student, anything like that. I'm just saying I don't have a grade for that. If there was some kind of a crisis, if there was something that we need to explain, if there's something I missed, sometimes you will submit something and I will miss it. And it gets lost in my email or something like that, then just let me know. Don't freak out. It'll be okay. But I will have to enter zeros in the grade book if there is not a grade there. So I have explained here in the ICR what the different quizzes and exams and things will look like, what the due dates will be. There will be opportunities for extra credit. They will be virtual. They won't be things you have to go to. We will have a maximum of 10 points, but usually I will give you, hey, here's an extra credit option. It's worth 5 points. So when I enter 5 points as extra credit, don't say, well, I only got half credit. Well, no, you got the full 5 points. You just may have another opportunity to do another extra credit for 5 points. So, so that's where that extra credit comes in. Extra credit will be a you did it or you didn't do it kind of thing. It'll be something like virtually attend a lecture that is, given by the college, or read, a presentation or an article that is written by someone, promoted through TCC, and then, tell me about it or give me a short synopsis of it, things like that. What did you learn from it? And then you'll submit that to me, and they'll usually be 5 points apiece. There is not going to be any late work. Late work just stresses you out, and it just stresses me out. So without some sort of a strange circumstance or some sort of extenuating circumstances, we're not going to accept late work. I will give you due dates. The material will be opened up by unit. So when you open a unit, there will be a folder in Blackboard that says, Unit 1. And it will have lectures, PowerPoints in there where I narrate and tell you things as we're going through the slides. Now, that said, you need to listen to the narration, because sometimes I'll say, hey, actually, for your quiz number 2, I want you to email me this information or something like that. And so, or for extra credit, you can send me, an email and tell me this piece of information. So you really need to listen to those because they will also explain to you different things that are going on in the class. So I will open it up. It will have a number of lectures. It will have notes. So you can either print off the notes or open them in Adobe and fill them in yourself as you're going through, because those notes are going to be where I get the exam questions. So the notes are guided because they are the things that I think are the most important out of the lecture. So I want you to take the notes seriously. You don't get a grade for them, but I want you to take them seriously, and I want you to fill them out. Now, before the exam, I will post the answers to the notes. So could you just print out the answers and skip filling them out yourself? Sure. That's cheating you out of learning the material and cheating you out of a good grade and knowledge. But again, if that's what you think that is an appropriate thing to do, then you can do it. So you will have the notes. You'll get the note answers, so you can check back and see if you were writing down the right thing that I was expecting you to write down. It will have links to the quizzes in that unit folder. It will have links to the discussion boards. And so I will have a due date and the title of Unit 1, and it will tell you exactly when everything is due. The exam will be due at the same time. And so you can take it, the first day Unit 1 opens, you can take it. The very last day, at the very last hour, you can take it, but you have to take it sometime within a couple of week time period. It'll be about 2 weeks. So, so it's kind of self-paced, but with deadlines, if that makes sense. Okay, here is a synopsis of the different units and kind of, what Unit 1, 2, 3, and then final is Unit 4. And so what exam will cover what material over what chapters in the textbook. And if you're pacing this on a week-by-week schedule, you'll see what week I anticipated, explaining that material. So each lecture will be what is considered a week. If you are coming to class, it would be your lecture that I gave that week during class. So that's how the weeks break down. Now, again, week 1, 2, and 3 are all under Unit 1. So could you do all 3 of those lessons the first week? Sure. Could you do 1 each week? Sure. Could you do all 3 of them at, an hour left before the end of week 3? Sure. Whatever works for you. So some units may be easier and some units may be more difficult to get through and to pace, but that is just my thought on the pacing of the class. I've explained the makeup exam. I've explained the critical thinking. I will give you guys rubrics, and I will also explain them during the time period when we have those pop up, okay? You don't have to attend class. As I said, there's not going to be a synchronous portion to this class where you have to show up every single Friday at 3 o'clock or something like that. I'm not going to ding you for lack of attendance. We're all adults here. We should show up and take advantage of this opportunity that we've been given to be able to attend a class like this. If you think that you need to drop the class, it's your responsibility to do so. So no matter what emails you get regarding attendance or from the college or anything like that, I'm not going to drop you on attendance. So let me say that again. I will not be dropping you from this class based on your attendance. Frankly, I'm not going to drop you from this class for any reason, because if you sign up, you don't complete a single assignment, you get a 0 in the class. That's kind of your thing. That's a decision you've made. So I'm not going to drop you for any reason from the class. Email is the best way to communicate with me. So shoot me an email, but don't freak out if I don't email you back in 5 minutes, okay? So we all have life going on, and I will get back to you. I will be respectful, and I expect you to be respectful too. I never have had to say that before, but I've had students in some recent semesters that forgot that we're all living in a society where we speak respectfully to each other. And so I will be respectful to you, and I expect you to be respectful to me. And if I sense that your tone is disrespectful, I'll just kindly point that out to you, because I don't want you to be conversing with people online in a way you think is appropriate when in fact it's interpreted as disrespectful. Okay, so everything else, food and drink in class, obviously you can eat and drink whatever you want while you're watching these lectures. You should be respectful, again, online to anyone that you're interacting with in this class, and frankly outside of class, but especially in this class. You should not plagiarize, period. Cheating is something that is a little difficult to monitor when we're online, and I'm not going to lie. Cheating is something that cheating may be to some people is considered using our best resources to other people. So In an online class, I often get asked, can we use our notes on the exam? I mean, I can't stop you. And frankly, since I can't stop you, other people are probably doing that. And so you should probably do that too. I'm not going to make you use your notes, but I am going to say I can't monitor that. And your classmates will probably be using all available resources too. So that's just something that we have to live with in an online class. We will observe the holidays that the college observes, meaning if you email me on, Easter Monday, it won't, or Easter Friday, Good Friday, I won't respond to you that day because we're observing those holidays. If you have other holidays that fall on a due date or something like that, let me know. And we will do our best to work around it. The best thing to do, though, is since you know anticipation of those due dates, that you should do your work earlier, sooner rather than later. So if you need to, be missing from a due date or something like that, just let me know, communicate with me, and we will figure out if there's a way to get around that. If you are a high school student and you're taking this class for dual credit, that's something I'm not going to find out about until much later in the semester. So I would ask you to alert me of that earlier in the class, just so that I can know if I need to be communicating with a counselor at your school or something like that. Generally, I'm not going to reach out. If you don't participate in the class, then you don't turn in any assignments. I'm not going to force you to do well in this class. I do want you to do well, but I'm not going to force it on you. But if you are a high school student, I do understand that there's a difference in life experience, and there's a difference in maturity level. There's a difference in things that you're having to go through right now. And I will actually try to reach out to your high school counselor and make sure they check in with you and let them know, hey, this person hasn't participated in, the first unit of the course material. Will you make sure that that everything's okay, or there's not some gap in communication? So, but if you don't let me know that you're a high school student, then I will never know that. I've had semesters before where a high school student didn't participate at all, and then a few weeks before grades were due, I found out, oh wow, I had a high school student and I need to submit their grades in a different form and things like that. And that's why I'm advised of whether or not you're a high school student or not. But I would have reached out earlier if I had known. That said, I have been teaching this class long enough that I've heard a myriad of personal tales of woe. So I understand that life is hard, and we have a lot of things that happen in life. We get sick, our family gets sick, our animals get sick, things happen. Our children have crises, our spouses may have legal problems, things like that. I understand. This is a self-paced class though, and so if you have something terrible happen, I gotcha. But I still need you to figure out a way to complete your classwork, because if I don't hold you to a standard of a college student, then I'm cheating you out of that college experience, and I'm cheating your classmates out of that experience too. And so I really am sympathetic to things that may happen. But at the same time, I ask that you not procrastinate, understanding that things may happen. So if you're feeling great this week, yes, it would be more fun to go outside and take a hike. Maybe you should finish your schoolwork first, though, because you never know if next week you are going to be ill, or a child is going to be ill, or you're going to be under a huge deadline at work or something like that, and you're not going to be able to get to it. So this is the last part of my introduction, and it is what does it take to succeed in this class? How can I make 100 in this class, or a complete credit, an A in the class? I've given you the roadmap. I've given you the number of points you need for each unit, or for each type of class exercise or exam or assignment or anything like that. So complete them. If you're having confusion, or if you're having a problem getting things done, maybe there's just a disconnect, you don't know why you're doing so horribly on tests, you don't know why you're doing so horribly on quizzes, let me know. Just communicate with me and let me know what's going on. You should read what's in the book. You should read what are on the slides that I'm going to present. You should listen to that too. And again, if there's something that is assigned and it's due at Friday at midnight, don't do it Friday at 8 o'clock in the evening, because you might run out of time. So that said, I would like every single one of you to make an A in this class. I am confident that every single one of you can make an A in this class. And I hope it's a great experience. So I will speak to you later. I will not see you later unless we do a Teams or a Zoom meeting. But I will speak to you later through the exam lectures. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me.